I mean, if you wanted to say that. And if you become a friar or a sister, you kind of do go to church several times a day. It's wonderful, but to keep holy his day, to give him a little bit of time, so that we can hear the word of God and we can pray, and our relationship with him can grow stronger. Oh man, I'm nervous about saying the next one, especially at retreats like this. I'm going to go there. Please forgive me, okay? The fourth commandment, extremely unpopular with teenagers.
Going to church.
I don't know. It says here, I don't know where this came from. Honor your mother and your father. Oh. Guys, this is so hard when you're a teenager. I want to offer you a very brief explanation, which I really wish somebody had said to me when I was a teenager. Okay. There are different stages of life. Okay? You got like infancy when you're a baby. Most of us don't remember that stage. Then you're a little kid, which is wonderful. Who doesn't love little kids? They're amazing. Then you become a teenager. Oh boy. There's some pretty difficult things that happen when you're a teenager. And then you get through, trust me, I've been there, and you become an adult, and you're like, whew, glad that's over. And then you become like middle-aged, and you dye your hair and buy a motorcycle. And then, your teeth and your hair fall out, and you become old. And then you trade the motorcycle in for a wheelchair. And then you're in diapers again, like when you're a baby. Then you're like elderly. Guess what? Every stage of life has its difficulties. Probably the most difficult stage of life is being a teenager. So if you're having a hard time, or if in the next year or two you start to have a hard time, it's just good for you to hear it from somebody. It's okay to struggle as a teenager. It's such an awkward stage of life, right? You're like not a little kid anymore. Although our parents always think we're little kids, right? Like my dad still treats me like I'm a little kid. But you're not an adult yet on your own yet either. You're like, where am I? It's this awkward stage of transition. And one of the things that happens, which is really natural, is that just on a basic level, you kind of want your freedom. You're trying to figure out who you are. You're trying to figure out, well, what do I really believe? All those big questions of life are what makes the teenager stage to be really difficult. I had an extremely difficult time when I was a teenager for different reasons, which I'll talk about tonight. And so it's hard for your parents to be respectful of people in authority, because as a teenager you're trying to become your own person. But it is a commandment, and it is coming from God. So to try in the midst of your struggles to be respectful and honoring of your parents, your teachers, and those who are in authority, it's very important. Number 5, you shall not kill. Hopefully no one here has killed anybody. But as Jesus taught in Matthew 5, the heart of killing somebody is giving into anger. And through gossip, and we can kill somebody's reputation. And through mistreating other people. There's this mysterious passage in Matthew 25 where Jesus says, whatever you do to the least of my brothers and sisters, you do to me. And so we have to be very careful. And in those teenage years, we can be really hurtful towards people. And maybe we're not killing them, but maybe spiritually we are killing them. And so we have to be careful of how we treat other people. I'm going to save the 9th and 6th commandment for last, because I know those are the commandments you're actually waiting for me to talk about. Number 7, you shall not steal. Anybody here ever had anything stolen? How does it feel?
Bad.
Pretty bad, right? Last year, somebody stole our band in New York City. So it's probably in San Puerto Rico right now, driving around. I don't know. But obviously, that commandment is very clear. If you have a job and you don't work according to what you're being paid for, that's stealing. If you download music or movies or other things illegally, that's stealing. You know, and again, we will give an account to God if you steal. Number 10, do not covet your neighbor's goods. This one becomes really important because in our day and age, a lot of people are falling into what's known as materialism. You know, we need more things, right? You got the iPhone 2, you got to get rid of that so you can get the iPhone 3. So you got to get rid of that so you can get the Android, the iPhone 4, or this kind of sandal, like, oh, I got to get those Michael Jordan sandals. Or, you know, whatever the popular clothing brand is, you know, I got to get me one of those Franciscan robes. Yeah, Calvin Klein, St. Francis. But things, you know, I got to get a 40-inch flat screen LCD, HD, 3D television. Until next year, I got to get a 50-inch one. Until like the year after that, I got to get a 75-inch one. You know, where does it stop? You know, this materialism and this not being happy with what we need, but constantly grasping after what we want. You know, more things, more things. Meanwhile, a lot of people in the world are living below the poverty line. And so Jesus is inviting us to be concerned about that. You know, and to serve and to help people who are less fortunate. Okay, now I will end with the commandments that you're all waiting. I can read your minds. The 9th commandment and the 6th commandment. Oh boy. These commandments from God deal with the area of human sexuality.